Can y'all hear me okay? No, no audio. Okay. Uh,
Is there a phone number you can call into?
Collaboration is so vital to making sure that this is easy. The system itself is very cumbersome to get a sealing or an expungement. One of the stats that we have in the data shows that only 6% of those who are eligible, or 6% of those who are eligible for a sealing expungement actually apply for them. So there's 96% of those individuals who are not, and that is because the system is very cumbersome. It's very difficult. Even with an attorney, it is difficult to do this. So on your own, you're kind of just left on your own to do this. And so with all of these partnerships, we're able to make sure that with legal aid by their side, with our community leaders, with Talithia by your side, with the state attorney by your side, and Jessica here at the public defender's office, we will guide you through this process. We will step by step help you. And this program that we're talking about today, because of our funders, we will in a year's time have 225 individuals who hopefully successfully navigate the sealing or expungement and have that record sealed or expunged.
Wow. Hey, listen, we had a little technical difficulties, and Mayor, if you're still there with us, are you still there? Okay, listen, we had a little technical difficulties. Our virtual audience did not hear what you said in the beginning as to what your position is when it comes to expungement, when it comes to working with those who are coming back into our community. And I hate to mash rewind, but I feel like it's necessary so that they can hear what you had to say in your initial comments, because I thought that was so vital to us being able to know that the mayor of our city has an active and a strong voice when it comes to returning citizens and doing what needs to be done to remove those barriers. Yes, sir. Well, now let me ask you before, I know you got to run, but we're going to thank you for your time, and I want to come to you, Talithia. But Mayor, as we look at the fact that the box, ban in the box is kind of out of the way now, but yet there's still barriers when it comes to employment. And Carrie, you mentioned that earlier, that still hinders sealing and expungement of those records. Does what in the eyes of the employee? Sure. Well, let's say, so, what corrections and things like many employers are conducting criminal background checks to employees are often reflected to hire anyone. Now, if your record is expunged, you can lawfully no. Now, granted, there are some exceptions for significant orders of specific jobs, but overall, you have the advantage if your record has been expunged. And let's face it, this does play a role in employment. So it's going to open up opportunities that might not have been available previously. And I encourage everyone to move forward. There is research out there that indicates that a person's criminal record has been expunged or sealed benefits personally on average of about $5,800 in increased wages and with more steady employment. There is academic research that backs
Wow. Well, listen, man, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Know you got a busy schedule, but I'm sure Carrie will agree that to have you as a part of this great initiative means so much because it speaks to the volume of our city. And for you to be able to jump on and give some insight on your stance helps us to know that we're all working for the same greater good, greater cause. Is there anything you want to say, Carrie, before the mayor leaves?
Just thank you so much for your support, Mayor. And we absolutely love having your wife as part of the team as well. Shout out to her. She's put in a lot of work on this, and I don't want you to leave without us giving a big thank you to her and you as well.
Well, listen, we're talking to Carrie. We're talking to still. Okay, so Talithia, when you really thought about the idea when it comes into the forefront, you are always at the forefront of just at the grassroots level, working with the least, the lost, and the last to ensure that there is equitable justice being done on their behalf. What just moved you so to say this is what must be done in our community?
Right? Like being in the neighborhood and, tax-fied, are you employed? That the city, hire on this person, hire, background check coming back. I can't pass that. Absolutely, in the neighborhood personally, and we had a lot of people when we did the survey talked about, checking the box and, some of the rest of that being a very important. And so, like Jerry said, we started this conversation before the pandemic. Really want to be real big and robust. This is our first League today. So I'm so thankful to Carrie and Leeway Foundation for actually following through, securing funds so that we can bring this to our community because so many people are in need of it. Want to raise that box so that they can have access to money, housing, education, all of those other things. But that is literally where it started, actually being on the ground and coming in contact with the people who are in need.
Right. And Jessica Uri, our new public defender, is going to be joining us as well. But Carrie and Talithia, one of the things that I think stands out is when you hear the word need. And Jessica, your office is meeting the need of so many families.
Yes, sorry, I apologize. Jessica's coming on the line in just a minute. But yes, Legal Aid Foundation of Tallahassee also meets the need of individuals to where they are, and we attempt to do that on the civil side mainly. And I want to say that I'm very proud of our board of directors who saw this initiative, heard Talithia, and wanted to make a difference here. It's a little bit outside of our realm of we're focused on family law. If you've got any issues with family law, divorce, child support, time sharing, housing issues, evictions, that's our bread and butter. But we could not allow this opportunity to pass us by, and we secured those funders, and they allowed us that opportunity to push forward this program, which will have, I'm sure we'll get into this, but it'll have about 3 phases that we'll go through for applicants to go through the whole process with us by your side.
Wow. That is so important. And Talithia, I know that you will agree with me, and you can give some insight to this for those who are listening, that when you're on the ground working, it's a work that causes for so many people to be at the table to make it happen. And people see the end results, but they don't know the beginning phase of it. Now, this project took place, gave birth right before COVID.
Yeah, so the whole happened one day. All of the law the stuff they were turning up to vendor, the clerk report, all of those at the table and having a discussion. From the very beginning, we were very conscious about how we wanted to bring this explosion and stealing event to the community that we didn't want to see. Someone comes in and tries to run a background check and they have a warrant, you gotta bring law enforcement. We want to be very mindful and respectful of this process that we did it well and in a way that we saw the benefits. There was no negative reaction. I'm so proud of the way that the Legal Aid
Wow.
One day we got in one of the we're planning for the individual community, the community piece is a big hiring thing. Or we're gonna bring in the house, city, the county, everybody, all of the big projects they have and that are willing to hire individuals who are going through this process. And that's what you call impact, right? Where you want to become process of impact on the end is actual employment, is actual housing, that's your access to educational location. That is what really impact once you receive expungement or still the right.
Wow. It's so amazing that you're saying that, because one of the things that I know at one of the meetings that I just happened to be able to sit in on was the fact that you made it clear that we wanted to be able to, on the spot, be able to make sure things were done, because over at FDLE there's a backlog, and you had made some headways to make sure that things were expediently done, and that is the key, because there are people who are waiting years upon years upon years just to get cleared through the background process, and that becomes disheartening.
Yeah, so COVID has kind of put a little
Sure.
in that process, but we have anyway. It's been almost a year, and conversations. We work through a pandemic, and so we are still working, going back to them and trying to get that agreement back on the table to where we can. It's 6 to 8, but I think 9 was possible.
Right.
Workshop the other day to actually get through the get one. But what was the executive plan to actually do that second phase was a 1 day, 1 stop shop with tag, clerk report, say the same, so that all the lawyers and then the chief judge able to sign off. So once they have the certificate in hand, I think that's still the plan. Once they have the certificate in hand, they walk in a felon and they walk out with the rest.
Wow. That is powerful, and certainly we're grateful for you and this leadership, and definitely great for Carrie and the Legal Aid Foundation, also the state attorney, the mayor, and so many more. And joining us on the phone line now is the public defender, Miss Jessica Uri. Good afternoon.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Great, Carrie. This has been an amazing journey thus far, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-oh.
Jessica. Okay. Okay, she's still there. Okay, so Jessica, walking into the role, you have, I don't even want to say you hit the ground running. I think you were running before you even, I think you were doing the work before you even got employed to do the work. But certainly, does this initiative, what does that say to you when you look at the partnerships that have been created to make this come to pass?
Sure, and I'm so grateful for this. I'll do a shout out. The current president of the Legal Aid Foundation is one of our assistant public defenders, Lolia Fernandez, and so she is in our office every day seeing what we call the collateral consequences. We resolve a case, we work it out as best as we can, we defend our clients, but then sometimes they walk out even after the system having, a withhold of adjudication or being on probation or even having their case dismissed, but it doesn't go away completely. And so having now this opportunity to make sure that it goes away completely is going to be what I think sets our clients up for success. I mean, we all know, and I know Pastor Dave, you talk about it all the time, but when you're going out and you're applying for a job and this whole case is over, you get to that question, have you ever been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor? Have you had a case where adjudication has been withheld? Being able to answer that question now with a no, knowing that your record has been disabled or expunged is going to give, so many people such a disadvantage in trying to find employment and trying to get their lives back on track, getting out of the system and making sure that they're not coming back because they have those opportunities. I will give one little plug though, as much as this is going to matter and it's going to impact our people that qualify for doing an expungement because there are certain limitations. I also want to remind everybody, we got to give people a chance to do competent them an interview. Let them come in and tell you on the changes they've made and the person that they are. Because all of us, as Brian Stevenson says, all of us are more than the worst thing we've ever done, and all of us are more than just one blip on the radar of our life. One choice is fine the rest of your life. So I think even with this project, we're educating people, we're talking to the community, and we're making sure that we are advocating and supporting second chances.
Wow. So Karen, just give us an overview for the audience that is listening of what the fighting to get my rights back, what does this overall picture looks like?
Yes. So the process, like I said earlier, is very cumbersome. It's very complex. Many individuals who attempt to do it on their own, end up not going all the way through the process because it's so complex, because it costs money. And so what Legal Aid has done is try to simplify that process and have your back while you go through the process. So the first thing that we've done is a community workshops. We've got 3 more opportunities for those community workshops. At this workshop, you will learn step by step how to go through the process. Like I said, it is complex. Even some attorneys have some trouble getting through it. You have to go through so many steps to just apply for what they call a certificate of eligibility from FDLE. That costs $75 just at the top to even see if you're eligible, and FDLE gives you that certificate. To do that, you also have to get copies of your disposition. That costs money. You have and time to go to the clerk and get all of those things. You then have to do fingerprinting. So take some more time, get some fingerprinting done. Submit all of that to FDLE. With that fee, you wait, like Talithia said, the 9 months to hear back. Once you hear back from FDLE and you've got that certificate in hand, you then have to go to the clerk of court and petition the court. Again, opening a case charges money. Working on those petitions, making sure you do them right and that it doesn't get sent back and you have to redo it. Making sure that the motions are correct, working with the state attorney to get an answer on your case, which, thankful to State Attorney Jack Campbell, who's going to work with us on this program, and I know he tries to do that as timely as possible. But you get your answer back from the state attorney, and then you have to file, an order, a draft order, which to a normal person, you don't even understand what that means. And so you have to do that, and then you have to take all of those materials once the order is put in place back to the clerk of court and get certified copies. Even after that process, because there are people out there who do this, your booking shot might be still online. You then have to petition with an attorney to get those taken down so that if an employer searches your name or a landlord searches your name, that doesn't pop up. So it's a very complex situation. And so what we've done at Legal Aid is that first one will be the workshop where we'll show you step by step if you have to do it on your own. If you're not eligible for our services, Legal Aid supports and provides assistance to our low-income neighbors, so at or below 125% of the federal poverty limit. And so there are some eligibility requirements for our services. But if you are eligible at this workshop, we will then pair you with a caseworker who, like I said, with those steps to get the FDLE application, will walk you through those. Make sure we're going to try and do a fingerprint day where you can just come in, get your fingerprint, work on your application with a caseworker who knows what they're doing. Get all of those materials together and submit those straight to FDLE in batches. Once we get those certificate back, we will set up those all-day clinics that Talithia has dreamed about. And it'll be the clerk of court right there, the judge right there, the state attorney right there, our volunteer attorneys, and hopefully some of the assistant PDs will be with us that day. And we will do all of those steps that I just mentioned right then and there once we have that certificate in hand. And you will walk out that day completing the process with having that expungement done. And like Talithia said, after that, our attorneys have agreed, well, hopefully our volunteers, once you volunteer, you will agree to sign on for a full year to help our clients through those other phases, like getting that booking shot put down, like making sure that if you do apply for a state job and you're not sure if you have to say yes or no, that you can call an attorney quickly and get that answer.
That's right.
And so we do these wraparound services. That is the gist of what the program is. And for 225 individuals who are eligible for our services, we are going to cover that $75 initial FDLE fee.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, that is amazing, and I understand. And Jessica, I want to ask you this because I've got listeners that are listening. When it comes to sealing and expunging the record, what if a person has a gun charge?
So, and it's a very complex, legal kind of jump around that we have to go in here, but the basic way to break it down is if you have a conviction of some sort, whether it's for a misdemeanor or a felony or any conviction at any time, most of the time it precludes you from ever stealing and expunging. So that's the difficult part, right? Like a lot of times we'll have clients that have a withhold on a felony. They're not a convicted felon. They can't physically understand on an application that they're not a convicted felon, but they have, misdemeanor trafficking case where they were adjudicated guilty, and that would preclude them for stealing or expunging. There's a lot of firearms charges, things, so I don't want to give this information out, but at the same time, if it ultimately ended up in a full dismissal, then that puts us in a much better position for stealing and expunging. And there's also collateral rights. It's like Carrie said, it's having your booking shot taken down, it's having the actual record of the arrest taken down, it's being able to, petition for housing, being able to apply for weapons permit, being able to provide for a license, a CNA, a nursing license, a
Absolutely.
license, all of these, a legal license, So that's why it kind of just, puts us in a position to have a better idea of what we can do going forward. The other thing, from our standpoint as a public defender's office, we hope to just contact with our clients, current, former, people that we've represented years before, check in with them. Sometimes it's just a letter of recommendation, even if they're not eligible for the legal aid program, which I hope that they are, but even if, legally at this point they don't qualify, we can maybe write a letter of recommendation for them and just say that's something that they can take out when they're applying for jobs and say, listen, sure, I had some convictions, it was 10 years ago, I successfully completed my probation and I've had no issues since then, and sometimes that's all it takes to have a lawyer explain that situation for someone to give them that second chance.
Wow. And I know, Carrie, you want to say something?
Yeah, if I could just add on to that, there's, if you're interested in wondering if your specific charge is eligible, I would highly recommend that you come to our workshop. Our next one is June 7th at 5:30 at Walker Ford. We've got one at June 10th at 3:30 at the Lincoln Center, and then we'll have one Saturday, June 26th at 9 a.m. if I didn't say Jack McLean. But we have a full list of the disqualifying charges for the sitting expungement. We'll go through that with you. We actually will have some assistant PDs there who will run a quick check to see if you're eligible for it that day. And the other thing I want to touch on is that there are, like Jessica mentioned, there are certain points where you may be eligible if you were convicted, and it's a very nuanced area, and so we want you to come to talk about it. One specifically that we talk about a lot is in human trafficking. So if you're a human trafficking survivor, you can actually, it's a little bit of a different process, but we want you to know that if you had charges or if you were convicted of a crime during that time period, you not only might be eligible for an expungement, but you might actually get your conviction vacated, eliminating any probation or fees that are left over, and you might even be able to petition the state back for the fees that you've already placed. So there are specific. I don't want anybody to hear this and say I don't think I am eligible, so I'm not going to go. Please come, please learn. Let's talk to the attorneys. Like Jessica said, we don't want to give advice over the air. We'd like to talk to you one-on-one. We'd like to be able to go through those. And if you're talking to a PD and you're not eligible for these services, they might be able to recommend a different service for you as well.
Well, what I want to say, and Jessica, Carrie, you all can chime in on this, because I've got several of my friends who operate, they're entrepreneurs, and they are looking to give employment to men who have, convictions, and who those convictions are old, 20 years, 15 years. I got a young man who has a courier business, and he said, hey, Greg, Pastor, I'm trying to hire guys all the time, but their convictions are 10 years old. But when they run the background, it comes up, and it limits me from the ability to hire, even though this guy has been a outstanding community person, he's been a good citizen, but yet that 10-year-old conviction is still there. I think, Jessica, you said something, that writing letters can possibly help, even if an expungement or the record sealing has not taken place. Is that it?
Yeah, and I do that all the time. I think so often, just having someone explain, because it's changing this narrative, Pastor James. It's changing the narrative of I am a booking report, I am a criminal history, I am my rap sheet. Absolutely not. I think people see, a charge and burglary of a structure. Okay, well, actually, the lawyer could explain that. You know what that was someone, going back to their ex-girlfriend's house to pick up their things when the cops came.
Right.
They said like complete information and everything's done, and they moved on with their life. So I think having someone explain that, or just being an advocate, so much of the way we're going to not only change the system in the courtroom, but also for people that come out of the system, is to give them that opportunity. People that are running businesses that are going to say, hey, y'all hired you. But the bigger issue is just like you said, does a conviction preclude them from being insured? Does the conviction preclude them from a corporate policy that says we aren't going to hire anyone with felony convictions? So we need to change, those procedures as well. But we are always happy, if it's a case where an old client or who previously represents them, and we can just, explain it to somebody or give a letter of recommendation. We're always happy to do that, because that's the bottom line. We all come together, empower the collective, empower the collaborative, support, our returning citizens, treat them just as we would our own brother or sister. We're going to make change. We're going to make a difference going forward.
And I'm grateful to all of you who have, come to the table to say it's time that we do what we can to ensure that men and women who are returning back into our community have a fair playing field to play on. And when men who cannot advocate for themselves realize that there's a Talithia, there's a Greg, there's a public defender, there's a state attorney, there's a Carrie, there's a mayor, there are many organizations, there are attorneys who are willing to volunteer their time to help this process. It gives so much hope to those who feel and who have been feeling hopeless. I hear comments on our stream now that says, this is great, this is amazing. Why? Because we have formerly incarcerated men and women who are tuned in. And Carrie, on June 5th, we're doing a all-men vaccination. I would love for you all to come out and set up a table of information, because we're calling for men, and we got a formerly incarcerated advocate work going on for men. We know what it is to have a voice in this community. So I want to invite you to that. Now look, let's dive into something that is really important. You said there are 250 available opportunities that you all are going to be helping men or women who are trying to get that record sealed.
225 for this year. But we actually have a second round of funding that'll start over in October. So it'll be additional 75 at that point. But for this round, it's 225, which we are just saying that's going to, the economic stability of that for our community that it's going to create is just going to be so mind blowing. I just can't wait to see it.
So how long is the process? And if I come on June 7th, am I a part of that 225 and I have to continue the process? It's like enrolling in a class, and how long before I graduate?
Yes, so we're saying give us a year. And the reason why we say that is because of that FDLE process. We do not know how long that's going to take. If we can pull it off, it might be shorter than that. If we can't pull it off and we have to, slog through the system with you, then it will possibly be about a year. But our goal is that in a year's time from the time that you came to the workshop, that we're doing that clinic with you, that all-day clinic, and having that record sealer expunged.
Great. So for those of you who are listening, that got family, friends, loved ones that are dealing with their past, keeps blocking them, their past keeps creating the wall for them to move forward. This is a great opportunity for them to become aware and to advance their life. It's the what's the title again? I call it the fighting back for my rights.
So we're saying take back your rights.
Take back your rights. Okay, take back, fight back. Okay, take back your rights. For more information about that, this is what I need you to do. I need you to say to yourself, I can go through this year process. Why? Because you have been going year after year and nothing has happened. So now take time, set aside whatever needs to be set aside to start June 7th. Meet them June 7th
we will be at Walker Ford Community Center in the gym.
Walker Ford Community Center in the gym. What time?
5:30.
5:30. Somebody put that in the chat. June 7th, Walker Ford, 5:30. If you're formerly incarcerated, you know somebody, you got family members, friends, send them to Walker Ford. This is a moment that you need to take advantage of everybody being at the table. We have the public defender. Her office is out in the community constantly. As a matter of fact, they're so in the community. I'm saying, are they holding court in the community? but you know, I want to applaud you for that, because when the community sees you, sees your office, it gives a different flavor to the work that you're doing, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I've been on several opportunities to be out there where you all just stop people and begin conversation, and you discover that, hey, you got something going on. How can we help you? I mean, right there on the spot. So I applaud you for that. And I'm sure that as you move forward, things are going to become even better at the work that you all are doing. So once again, thank you so much. Kara, what else do we need to let our listening audience know about what's going on?
Just that you have this ability. You know, it is cumbersome to do it on your own. Let us help you. Let us be your advocates. Come join us on this journey, and you know, in a year's time, we'll be ringing a bell. I think Talithia is going to buy us a bell that we're going to ring for you, and celebrate the fact that this record is no longer hanging over you. You know, one of the things that I just want to, right before we close, is it you know, is about second chances a lot of times. But you know, a lot of people are interacting with law enforcement in the criminal justice system, and that first right was just taken from them without them doing anything. And that's, you know, we, both sides of that coin, we're here to help you through this process, and we're excited to do so. Wow.
And Jessica, I want to say this, because for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, when you can see the state attorney and the public defender sitting at the table to say, let's make sure that we do what needs to be done to help assist in men and women getting their rights back. How powerful is that, Jessica?
It's powerful, for sure. You know, and I think that we're working on, you know, changing the opportunities for our clients. You know, obviously our hope is that we're never even in the system, or we're never at a point where we have to try and, you know, look at a conviction, or, you know, look at prison time. You know, we want to avoid our clients having to do any incarceration at all. And, you know, we hope that they're given chances on the front end. But that being said, you know, the fact that we can sit here and try to right some previous wrongs, you know, and try and get people back on track and to a better path in the future through that relationship, I think it's great. You know, I think we can only go forward from there. We just want to make sure that we're giving, you know, people opportunities in the court system now, so that, you know, maybe they don't even have to go through this process down the road.
Wow. Hey, for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, don't forget now, it's happening June 7th. That's at Walker Ford Community Center. And listen, you're talking about enrolling 225 formerly incarcerated men, women who are trying to get that expungement, their record sealed. It's a process, but they're willing to take you by the hand and walk you through that process. And guess what? When you are helped, then you're able to help so many others. So I'm excited about it. It's something that I just applaud. When I first heard about it before the pandemic, I was excited to see how Talithia had went forward with initiating, especially the relationship out at FDLE, because that is one of the major components. If we can get those background checks done and those records speedily done, it makes the process much easier, because you're in relationship with the clerk, you're in relationship with the public defender, the state attorney. It makes it much easier. Anything else that you want to say? Because I feel like this is amazing. We're going to have to do this again.
Yes.
Because I want to keep our audience informed, because that's my population. I heard Talithia say that, you know, that the real hoorah comes when they can get that record sealed and you have job opportunities right there. When she said that, as we approach Father's Day, I recall some years ago for Father's Day inside of our church, we had a job fair for nothing but ex-felons. That's it. And, you know, my favorite place that I eat, their manager and general manager was there. So people say, well, why do you love the Waffle House so much? Because they have hired so many formerly incarcerated men and women. So I go there to let them know that I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, they hired a young man at our job fair who's now a manager So anyway, that's a whole nother story, but that's why I love Waffle House.
Well, and that's our hope. That is our hope. Our hope is that Talithia has this where she's going to pick up after we finish with the legal part of it, and we're going to put together this community event, like she said earlier at the top of the show, to make sure that we bring the chambers in. And one of the things that we want to do this for the individuals that are facing this and have that opportunity right now. But the other thing that we really want to do is change the conversation.
Absolutely.
Right? So we want to change the conversation, and by doing this, it opens up doors. It opens up the conversation for people who may not be in the conversation right now. And so that end result of having the chambers there, having all of our private sector employers there, and seeing these individuals as people and as our neighbors, and that the only reason why they didn't hire them before was because of something written on a piece of paper. Hopefully that'll change the conversation. And one of the things that we're hoping for is that we do find success in this, and that we will track and keep in touch with the people who go through this program to make sure that they are getting employment, that they are getting better housing. What is your goal is what we want to know. And then in a year's time, are you in that goal? How can we help you get to that goal if you're not there yet?
Wow. One of the things that you said that kind of like put a light bulb off on me was that these are not the people that you see on paper. And I'm sure our public defender, as well as our state attorney, I'm in their office day in and day out saying the person that you have in this file, the person that you have on paper is not the person. And I'm so grateful to our public defender who is able to look for those community leaders, look for those pastors, look for those people who know these individuals that can come in and say, let us give you a better insight on this person. How important is that, Jessica, for your office?
Oh, it's everything. I did it all the time. We have our community advocates that come in and stand next to our clients and their family. Their family is important. There's a community advocates that are going to say, listen, I got this. They're going to be in this program. They're going to be here.
Of making the change and being able to be visible and vocal inside our village. I like that, visible, vocal inside of our village. Thank you so much. And Carrie, thank you for the work that you all are doing. I've had the opportunity to do some work with you all, and grateful for the heart that is there. And whenever you have the people in your heart, it makes doing the work easy.
Absolutely.
And Talithia, we want to thank you so much for just grabbing hold to the vision and sticking to it in the midst of the pandemic, breathing life back into it, getting everybody back on board. And our mayor, our state attorney, thank all of them for the work that they're doing. And for those of you who are listening to the broadcast, don't let this moment pass you by. Get on the phone with those family members that you know and head them towards Walker Forward, June 7th. What time again?
5:30.
June 7th, 5:30. Listen, it's been an amazing time. And before we go off, I'm going to have to let you hear from those men who are inviting you to join us June 5th. That's right. It's Men All In. It's the vaccination pop-up clinic that's going to be happening where? It's going to be happening at the New Enrichment Center off of Lake Bradford. That's right. We're challenging men as we get ready for Father's Day to lead their families, their friends, their neighbors to the vaccination site. We had an amazing conversation last night, men at the mortuary, and we are excited about the momentum that this movement has picked up when it comes to vaccination among men. We understand how the percentage rate is real low, but listen, we're getting ready to make a difference. Until next Wednesday, I want you to have a faith-filled week. Be safe. And don't forget, now you can join us every Sunday morning, Life Church International, and we look forward to seeing you. I want to say good afternoon to Kimberly Daniels in Jacksonville, Florida. She's tuning in to this conversation because she understands the work that is being done. She's a strong advocate for second chances. Want to thank her so much for all that she has been doing in that area. Until next week, Carrie, anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
Come on June 7th to Walker Ford. Please come join us.
Well, we're going to make sure that Walker Ford is running over on June 7th because we're going to talk about it again right here on Wake Up Wednesday. Hey, want to thank all of you for joining us. Want to say to Mutaqee Akbar, our co-host, he had court, but he was trying to get in. But listen, you're going to hear more from him. Until then, I want you to have a faith-filled week. And remember, June 5th, it's Men All In.
Hello, this is Marvin Vogel with the Kingsman's Club, inviting you June 5th to the Men's All In pop-up vaccination site.
I'm Abram McClinton. Being a survivor of COVID, I know how important it is for men to be all in on June 5th.
I'm Dr. Derek Richardson, Precious Memory Talk.